Good evening, students. In this session, we will discuss the respiratory volumes and capacities. Under the respiratory volumes and capacities, the first one is the tidal volume. What is a tidal volume? It is represented by TV. Tidal volume means a person do the respiration in normal conditions, both the inspiration and expiration. That is only called as the tidal volume. A person perform inspiration and expiration during normal conditions. A person perform inspiration and expiration during normal conditions is called as the tidal volume. The tidal volume is 500 ml. Per minute means 6000 to 8000 ml. The next one is the inspiratory reserve volume. It is denoted by I or V. If you see the inspiratory reserve volume, additional volume of air inspired by a person due to forcible inspiration. Additional volume of air inspired by a person due to forcible inspiration. Additional volume of air inspired by a person due to forcible inspiration. It is only called as inspiratory reserve volume. What is the inspiratory reserve volume? 2500 to 3000 ml. The next one is the expiratory reserve volume. Under the expiratory reserve volume, same like that. Additional volume of air expired by a person due to forcible expiration. That is only called as expiratory reserve volume. Additional volume of air expired by a person due to forcible expiration. It is only we are called as a expiratory reserve volume. What is the value of expiratory reserve volume? 1000 ml to 1100 ml. The next one, residual volume. Residual volume. It is denoted by RV. What is the residual volume? After forcible expiration also, certain quantity of air present inside of the lungs only. That is called residual volume. After forcible expression, also certain quantity of air present in lungs only. This only we are called as residual volume. What is the residual volume? Value of residual volume? Here 1100 ml to 1200 ml. Now these are all the respiratory volumes. Then we move to the respiratory capacities. This topic is very important for the NEET point of view. So that students, you should be carefully listen. The next one is the respiratory capacities. What is the respiratory capacities? Under this, the first one is the inspiratory capacity. It is denoted by IC, inspiratory capacity. How we can calculate the inspiratory capacity? Tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume combined together called as the inspiratory capacity. What is the tidal volume? 500 ml. What is the inspiratory reserve volume? What is that? 2500. It is the minimum value. We are going to be taking the only minimum value. So here 500 ml plus 2500. So that finally 3000 ml is the inspiratory capacity. The next one, expiratory capacity. Expiratory capacity. It is denoted by EC. Now, what is the expiratory capacity? Tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. Here tidal volume is 500 ml and expiratory reserve volume. What is the expiratory reserve volume? 1000. 1000 is the least. We should take the only least value. Then we are getting the 1500 ml. This is the expiratory capacity. Then we move to the some other capacities. Under that, what are that? Residual, functional residual capacity. The next one is functional residual capacity. It is denoted by F or C, functional residual capacity. What is the functional residual capacity? Functional residual capacity, how we are going to calculate it means expiratory reserve volume combined with the residual volume. Based on the name only we can understand residual capacity. Residual capacity means residual volume is needed. When the residual volume is needed, what is the meaning of residual volume? After the forcible respiration only, what are the air present in the lungs? That is only we are called as the respiratory reserve volume. So here asking the capacity means we should add the expiratory reserve volume along with the residual volume only. Should not add the tidal volume. We should be careful about these capacities. We should not confuse. Remaining things are inspiratory capacity. We should add that tidal volume. Expiratory capacity also tidal volume only we are adding. But in the case of functional residual capacity, we are adding the, instead of tidal volume, we are adding the residual volume only. What is the reason? Residual capacity, how we are getting? After the forcible expression only, we are getting the residual volume. That's why residual capacity means we should taking the expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume only. Now, what is the expiratory reserve volume? Here 1000 is the expiratory reserve volume Along with that residual volume, what is that? 1100. Then we are getting the, what is the volume is the 2100 ml. This is the functional residual capacity. The next one is the vital capacity. What is the vital capacity? It is denoted by VC. Vital capacity, here we are taking the tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume. These are the volumes we are taking for to know the vital capacity. So what is the tidal volume? 500 ml. Then what is the inspiratory reserve volume? If you see the inspiratory reserve volume, 2500 is the least. Then after that expiratory reserve volume 1000 is the least. Then we are getting the 4000 ml. It is the vital capacity. The next one is the total lung capacity. Total lung capacity. It is denoted by TLC. How can you calculate this? Tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume along with residual volume. Here tidal volume is 500, inspiratory reserve volume is 2500, then expiratory reserve volume is, what is that? 1000 is the least. Then after that residual volume 1100 is the least. So that we are getting the 5100 ml. It is the total lung capacity. The next one, the very simple thing, what is that? Dead air space volume. Dead air space volume. Under the dead air space volume, first of all, what is the meaning of dead air space? Respiratory duct present very near to the alveolar duct. Respiratory duct and alveolar ducts are involved in the exchange of gases. Remaining ducts are also present in respiratory tract, but they are not involved in the exchange of gases. But however, they are filled by the air. That is only called as the dead air space. Respiratory duct and alveolar ducts involved in exchange of gases, but remaining ducts doesn't involved in exchange of gases. But remaining ducts does not involved in exchange of gases. However, they are filled by the air. However, they are filled by air in respiratory tract. It is only called as the dead air space volume. So what is the value of the dead air space? Dead air space volume is 150 ml. These are the respiratory volumes and capacities. Thank you, students. Next session we will continue.